The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found The Local Show, and that means that we found you. And that's always a good thing. Thank you for hanging out with Tom and Steve right here on 570 WSYR. You can also see us on the YouTube and, bomb around over there, see what everybody looks like.
I spend way too much time on YouTube, Tom.
Do you?
Do you go in, do you find yourself like going from a video to another video to another video, and then you're like 20 minutes later, you're like, wait a minute, I got stuff to do.
I may not be so random because I have specific reasons why I go there.
So you go, see what you see, and then you're gone?
Yeah. Well, but I do see a lot. I have my people that I'm hooked up with, and learning different things. So I'll go through my whole, it's almost like going to school. I look at it like going to courses. I'm going to learn a little bit about this graphic design. I'm going to do a little bit on audio. I'm going to do a little, back
I love
and forth.
some of the
my health stuff.
Yeah, some of the. I mean, I get sucked into the fishing stuff because it's in the golf stuff, and there's several teachers on there that are really good.
Yeah,
and they kind of dumb it down to people that play once a week or once in a while.
Sure.
And then the camera stuff with the photography is just amazing.
You can get lost in that. Yeah.
Like you in the audio engineering stuff or whatever. But
yeah. I've always, it's a great way to learn. Oh, and then I follow a couple of these guys with AI, and they're always talking about the latest tools, the tips. And
how do you know it's really them?
And you don't.
Okay.
They could be AI generated. You never know. But here's a guy who's right in front of us, so we'll talk with him. Matt Robbins is the director of Upstate New York Foster Home Licensing and Recruitment. I have no idea what that means, man.
How's that for a title?
Yeah, right. That's great. Matt, are you a homegrown person? Are you born and raised around here?
I was originally born in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
I went to Colgate University and
nice.
met my wife there.
Steve, you're messing with his microphone. What are you doing? Yeah, that's great.
We stayed out since, and we're Central New Yorkers. I'm raising my 10-month-old son here.
Oh, very nice. Yes. Yeah. And did you say your wife went to Colgate too?
We met in a history class.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I like Colgate. I used to gig out there all the time. I have a DJ company, and we used to play for one of the fraternities, big fraternity out there.
I can't speak on anything fraternity.
Okay, that's okay. Or you don't want it known.
Just as well.
Yeah. And they had that old theater that they remodeled.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, boy.
I can't remember the name of it.
I know exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a nice one. Okay, so what got you into this line of work, and what is it?
Absolutely. So I began my human service social work career about 9 years ago. I was a therapeutic mentor. I provided behavioral supports for youth that were referred through, it was Mass Health at the time, but I have since moved to New York and have jumped into this role. I began as a case planner, very similar to a case worker. We do case work. Okay. My role was to be the liaison between the court system, the medical system, the school system, et cetera, for youth in foster care.
So these are people who might have a troubled or challenging youth.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
All of our youth have experienced trauma.
Okay.
We're a trauma-based program. And so any youth that come into our program have been through life's challenges.
So are these infants or are these older kids, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. As young as 1 week old.
Goodness.
And we serve youth up to age 18. Our youth that are in our program are able to stay until age 21. But our referrals go up to age 18.
So do you have a clinical background? Are you like a psychologist or a PhD? Or?
I have a history degree, as I mentioned.
Okay.
So for about 6 months, I moved back to Boston after college. I should have mentioned that.
Okay.
And I was working at a private school, and one of the parents said, Matt, I can see the qualities in you that would be excellent for therapeutic-based work. You should apply, and that's where my journey started.
Right.
So you do recruit folks that are would-be foster parents? Is that a fair way to put it?
Absolutely. That's my role is to find incredible foster parent applicants.
It sounds like a high standard.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We do a very in-depth background check, 3 of them. We hold interviews. We do numerous things to gauge the level of readiness and the level of which these foster parents can provide a safe and stable, excellent environment for youth.
So this may surprise Tom, but my wife and I, we made it through that process several years ago, and we were foster parents to 2 children. Actually, ended up adopting the second one, who's our son now, who's 34 years old. So they ask you lots of questions, lots of different ways.
Right.
And there's a safety thing, and then we had to go to classes. Do you have that whole thing?
We do 10 weeks of training in-house, twice a week, 3 hours per session. That might sound like a lot, but it creates a community where our foster parents can interact with our trainers and other foster parents and kind of build that understanding of a trauma-based response to
Who would want to be a foster parent?
Sure. So I think those who want to be a foster parent have the seed planted in their head. For whatever reason, they have come to fostering world and they have researched the fostering world. They could be single, they could be married, they could be young, they could be old. But it's this willingness to provide stability and support, and potentially a background in providing supports for youth that have been through trauma.
Now, you work in Cayuga County? Is that, or this is not for Syracuse?
This is most definitely for Syracuse as well.
Oh, it is.
We were founded in Auburn, New York in the 1850s. We have since sprouted out. We are all over central New York.
I gotcha.
As well as downstate as well. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the, upstate New York foster home licensing? What's the organization called?
We are Cayuga Centers.
It's called Cayuga Centers.
Yes.
Okay.
I work out of our office on Harrison Street, right next to the Marriott. We have a big, beautiful office that we just moved into.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So is there a difference? So Onondaga County has foster. Are there different organizations kind of doing the same thing, or is it one? Or help us sort that out.
Absolutely. So we are a nonprofit, a private agency. We receive all of our referrals from the respective counties that we serve. They will also be recruiting foster parents, but what makes us special is that we bundle all of our services in-house. So everything I mentioned before, medical, case planning, skills training, we do in-house, whereas if you were to foster through the respective counties, you would be referred to different services.
Right.
And that's what makes us special.
So why would anybody want to be a foster parent?
I think you'd have that deep burning desire to provide for someone else, to incorporate someone into your life, into your family, and to nurture and to help with age-appropriate development. All the things that may have been lacking in that child's life beforehand.
You know what the difficult part for me is that I had a hard enough time raising my kids, and I'm still raising them, and they're adults. But you do have to have a special thing in your head that you're able to have the empathy and compassion to work with that. But I think one of the things that would trouble me too is that I would get attached, and when you're fostering, sometimes you have to be able to let go.
Absolutely.
Right?
We are very transparent in the beginning. The placement process is dictated by the court system, and we know that going in. And it takes a special kind of person.
Yeah.
It takes someone who's able to provide that deep emotional attachment, but understand that there's a greater goal at hand.
Right.
And that could be reuniting with their biological family. It could be adoption, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and we experienced both. So we had a young lady for a season, and she got put into another family for some other reasons. And then our son, who's our son to this day, came and we ended up being able to foster him for 3 years and then ultimately adopted. So CayugaCenters.org. So that's not just in Cayuga, that's here. So don't be confused, listeners.
Absolutely.
It isn't far away. So CayugaCenters.org is the website. Lots of information there.
Absolutely. And yes.
Yeah, and if they want to talk to you, can they call the 209-0902?
You'll be speaking right to me.
Okay. So if you want to have a chat, 209-0902, CayugaCenters.org. Matt, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.